Hola, familia estelar. Ooh, this is a very, very interesting message that's coming through. First of all, we're opening up with 1313 on the clock, which is literally about clarity that you're gaining after a period of uncertainty. And I feel as if this is definitely around taking action towards something that will then collapse into your third dimensional experience. It's quite literally something that you're downloading from the non-physical into the physical. And I'm hearing it's upgrading this gameplay experience of some kind. So it's going to be a trigger point. They're showing me the vertex energy. It's a trigger point that's going to onset. I'm hearing a set of eclipses. If you think about eclipse energy, it's about something that was previously obstructing your view or your light in some way. And now that's being cleared up. That's what it feels like. Okay, and I was also seeing like an onset of fated epiphanies, aha moments, revelations, breakthroughs, and fated encounters. That's also what Vertex brings. So it's Destiny's Gate opening up for you in some way. Now, we have a lot of interesting messages. The first one is Supernova. By the way, I don't know if I said this, but I'm recording this at Templo de la Luna, and I'll go ahead and show you guys literally where we are in like the coolest portal right now. Okay, hold on. Okay, anyway, back to business, right? We have Supernova. So Supernova actually talks about something that you're going to be doing that's literally leading to a rebirth because you're embodying a different version of self. It feels like you're streamlining, embodying, and anchoring in parallel versions of self that are the embodiment and vibrational resonance to the highest possible expression of you. And Supernova talks about something that you're doing that can be seen with the naked eye, right? So this is literally physical things that those around you can actually look at, okay? So it's something that you're creating, or maybe it's physical changes that you're going through as well, because Supernova can also talk about an identity rebirth, where you shed certain belief systems that were attached to a previous identity, and that's leading to you literally transforming before. I'm hearing your eyes because I'm seeing someone look in the mirror and not even really recognize themselves anymore, but also first house energy, which is also the way that people see you, that is changing. And this is because you're going after things that you haven't gone after before. I'm hearing not even just going after, but you're aligning yourself with. And I'm hearing you're aligning yourself with it because you're embodying that, okay? The version of self that would do those things. Anyway, back to business, right? So Supernova talks about a ripple effect that's being sent throughout the cosmos. So this is a huge impact, okay? It's a huge impact. And then you have a call for action card with the 𝓤𝓸𝓻𝓵𝓭 Galactic Council. I'll go ahead and read it. It talks about star beings answering a call, right, that you've been receiving. And the 𝓤𝓸𝓻𝓵 Galactic Council is saying that it is time to shine. So maybe you've been quite reserved, or there's just some type of element of that's going. It's almost like it kind of does remind me of an all eyes are on you type of energy, right? Whether you like it or not, it kind of reminds you of a ready or not. You are being watched or observed in some way. It reminds you of a reading that I did around you're being noticed for like your divine commission, or you're about to go global for your divine commission, definitely with Supernova energy. Anyway, Supernova also talks about, in my view, from what I'm seeing right now, is something that extends and branches far beyond this matrix or this system. So it feels like literally the reason why you've been seeded onto this planet. It does feel like there's something that feels preordained in some way. Anyway, the Galactic Venetian Council are extraterrestrial beings that are surrounding you during this time, and it talks about Venus energy. And with Venus now in Scorpio as well, I feel like there's something that is hidden that's coming to light, but this is a huge transformation. It's about an internal transformation that's happened, that reality is now going to be corresponding and mirroring and reflecting back to you. So there's no set way of working with them. They can appear in your dreams, in deep meditation. They will come to you. And it talks about this being a call for action. So you're being asked to step up and create the changes that you want to see in the world. You have a reason for being here, and you have the potential to inspire, support, and heal your corner of the world. Don't let this information scare or overwhelm you if you're being prepared energetically to step into this role. The ideas you've been having recently are divine downloads. You aren't being called to make dramatic changes in your life. Simply move forward step by step. And every step you take is sending ripples. So I'm hearing don't underestimate the steps that you're taking, no matter how small they may seem, because it's anchoring your future into the present moment. Oh, I love that. It's like anchoring a future vision into the present moment. Oh, ow. Okay, so it also says the 𝓤𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓽 Galactic Council will reveal more information to support you. Be aware of downloads of information and spiritual signs for their confirmation that you're on the right path. So it feels like, the right path is a path that feels completely aligned. It's like you're supporting this vision with the physical action that you're being called to take during this time. And then you have these energies, right? So don't dim your light, right? How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? Maybe this is something that you've been apprehensive or reluctant. It does remind me of, ready or not, you're about to be put in a very visible position. It feels like this is like a wave of visibility that's coming your way. I'm seeing the words viral as well, which is super interesting. So it feels like something is definitely going to be going the distance in some way because of the impact that you're here to have. Now, you also have loosen your grip, right? Density addiction, 𝓤𝓭𝓪𝓬𝓪. So there is something that you're going to have to surrender to, like ready. It kind of reminds me of like a ready or not, like your light is here to be seen or expressed in some way and noticed. And then you also have the 𝓘𝓪𝓻 energy, a message in a bottle, which is super, super auspicious. This card basically talks about opportunities that are on your way. It talks about endeavors. 𝓘𝓪𝓻s are oracles that are spoken innocently by the speaker. So this is people that are going to keep reaffirming to you something that you already feel on a soul level. It's like reality continuously reinforcing something to you. It's almost like encouraging you to set forth on this path or forge this path in some way. But it talks about expect a phone call, like pay attention to that email, that invite, that news. It's something that is going to be a very synchronistic event. It's like the universe is going to be speaking to you through everything around you. It literally talks about music, logos, number plates, whatever this is. It's going to continuously keep reaffirming something to you. And then you have Healer of the Ages. So I feel like this is you stepping onto this planet. Healer of the Ages is a very strong energy archetype, I would say. So it's not something that is physical, but it can be streamlined through your physical vessel as a conduit. And it usually, talks about Christ consciousness, which is a fractal of awareness that has descended into this matrix, right? Was once a unified field of consciousness and still is, but it's experiencing itself through countless life forms, an illusion of separation. So it's like you're seeing through this construct very, very clearly. Anyway, this is when a fractal of awareness that has fallen asleep into this human amnesia begins to wake up in this construct and sees it clearly. It's almost like, okay, I'm in this universe in which, we've created for us to come and play in, essentially. And as soon as that streamlines into awareness, right, you begin to remember the fact that I'm seeing like a photon in that way, and you're here to have that exothermic reaction. So there's something that you're doing where you're transferring that light or heat into your surroundings. And if you think about heat, it's something that brings you warmth. There's also something that brings you comfort in a lot of ways. So you could be a comforting light or inspiration as well to those around you, or something that you're going to be doing could comfort others. I'm seeing like music, art that you create, things of this nature, or things that you move towards. And light is also information, right? It's photons are information in which you carry, and also you're sending out in this rippling effect. So it's leading to a mass awakening of some kind. That's definitely what it feels like. And then you have deep diver diving into a task. This energy is interesting because it talks about what's calling you now is not your comfort zone. What you're being called into now is to dive really, really deep into, a very particular project, something that you're here to be doing in some way. And it talks about there's something that you're going to be discovering amongst the ancient sands that lays all around you on the floor. It's someone going into the bottom of the ocean on the seabed, and they're uncovering a pearl of wisdom, and then they're bringing that forth into the cosmos or sharing that with the masses. So there's something that you're discovering within yourself that you are here to share. Maybe it's some kind of inspiration or epiphany that you have and that's going to lead to you taking action towards something. And you have dancers on one foot, balancing act, so it kind of reminds you of an energy. Balancing act talks about any part of your life may feel like it's up in the air at any given moment in time. And I'm just seeing someone in kind of in a mad scientist mode where they're receiving all these downloads and they're like connecting the dots, and it could feel like things are upside down, or they're going to be turned upside down in your life, but at the same time they've never felt so right, because you have Watcher's Transpersonal, which is an interesting card as well, because it talks about your higher self basically viewing this from a higher level of understanding. Again, this octave or fractal of yourself that can see the full landscape of time and space, and is able to foresee the future events that you are anchoring into the present moment, that you're drawing forth towards you, because it feels like you're summoning certain experiences your way just through the law of resonance. And it talks about observing the human comedy that's unfolding on the ground in your life. So it's almost as if you're going to be almost finding the chattering mind amusing and moving towards something that your heart is calling you to do, even if the mind doesn't fully understand. And it's going to be something that is comedic, because the mind is going to catch up in a linear fashion with what you innately are, which is a quantum being. So this is you applying higher navigation styles to this density, right, to this third dimension, and it's allowing you to move through this system more fluidly. That's another energy. So the two other messages that you had were the Fool card, which is the Fall and the Death card. So this is like a huge rebirth that's taking place in your life. And then you also had the Pelican and the Emperor, which, you know, the Emperor is about reaching a high level of establishment within your career or other life goals that you've set for yourself as well, but it's Mars energy. Hola.
Meditando, ¿ves? Son altares para entender que nosotros somos creadores. En la cristianidad, en las iglesias, en los altares ponemos los santos. Pero acá no, acá nosotros nos ponemos en calidad de creador, de Dios, que tengo esa partícula, ¿no? Porque si ustedes ven, tiene esto y tiene la otra parte del triángulo continuaria acá. Todos tienen, esa también tiene un poco, ¿no? Entonces, para percibirse que yo soy Dios, que yo soy creador, en sí que todo lo que nos pasa lo estamos creando nosotros. Pero desde este mundo inconsciente, subconsciente que les he hablado, no es desde que uno quiere, ¿no? Sino es inconsciente, es lo que está creando todo. Entonces, entrar ahí es percibirse que soy Dios. No problem, no problem.
Yeah, but if you want to take a photo, take that. No? Oh, sure, you go there, because then you can take all three of you.
I can share.
But it would be a cool photo, I think, for all three of you to be in one each.
Excelente, para los tres. La Trinidad. ¿Sí? ¿Se siente la energía?
Sí, el calor.
Puedes percibir la energía, tú ves. Excelente, muy bien.
Muchas gracias.
Incroyable.
Ouais, c'est vrai que c'est...
Ah, tu sens un truc qui se passe là.
Continuamos por aquí.
Hay muchas personas.
Merci.
Vamos a
De nada.
¿Ya?
¿No? Los que conocen, los que saben, entran a meditar, pero los que no conocen, no saben, pues no.
Sí.
No. Perfecto, muy bien. Excelente. Muy bien. Goodbye.
Bye. Hasta luego. Yeah, once I start these readings, nothing is a coincidence. It's all synchronistic alignments, and I find that really funny, because there was a mother and her two children, and I didn't even realise that this was a trinad a triad, and the man said Trinity, which is super interesting. And if you think about Neo and Trinity, Neo is about a revived vision that you may have, and the Trinity is the triad and this how this system runs, right, in the third dimension, because we're talking about things happening in threes, and it is the reunification of spirit leading you through matter and physical, right, masculine alignment that must take place with your actions to actually support that intuitive vision or the yearnings that the soul has to experience. And that's what leads to mastery over matter and the way that you actually create in this realm, because there is an intentional action that you're being called to take. And it's very much Emperor energy, right? We have the Fool and the Death, and then we also have the Emperor, and the Emperor's physical embodiment. And I was literally saying that right before they arrived, where the Emperor is Martian energy, which is physical action and also drive and determination. And then in this card, it also represents the Pelican energy. So I'll go ahead and show you, and then you have the ram, right, the head. And the pelican is, you can see here, it has a buoyant on it, right, like a buoyancy, which is a lifeline that's being thrown to you to enter into a complete new timeline. And that's what I'm seeing. It's like the soul is handing the human a lifeline in some way, and it's going to help you. I'm hearing not just drift course, but move through into a new course. Anyway, this talks about something that you've been avoiding. So essentially it represents a spirit plane boot camp. So it's something that you've been prepared for. It's where your preparation meets an opportunity. When it comes up in a reading, it can be a symbol of structure and control, but it can also represent rigidity and coldness. So it can show a need to confront your inner self in some way, especially the one that is trying to, with South Node in Virgo, maybe overanalyze something, right? Trying to fully understand all of the logistics and small and finer details when you're being shown a bigger vision right now. You know the way you want to go and the why you want to go there, and that's going to be your anchor as you're revealed the how and the when, right? That's what I'm seeing. The how and the when is something that is going to unfold in a linear fashion. So when you see the pelican, ask yourself if you're avoiding something that needs confrontation in order to move on, or perhaps if you're being asked to release control, there's something that requires lightness during this time. And with death, it is about surrendering, right? The death card is the Fool card, which is about some type of new beginning that's taking place in your life. And it has the same symbol. So this is what I'm seeing, right? It literally has that same pelican with the lifeline and the Fool, which is the death. So there is something that you're being shown the way towards, and to become buoyant is to become less dense in the medium you're immersed in, which is to move through this system with a knowing system, not just beliefs, right? So in the beginning there is death. This talks about a second chance and a new beginning. It is what we often fear most and know so little about. So there is an unknown variables essentially that you're going to have to make friends with, and that's where the magic lies in the quantum, right? It's in the unknown. And every time we fear the unknown, we disconnect from our higher self. And in order to be able to embody your higher self, you must begin to embrace that unknown, because that's where the magical alignments are literally waiting for you to discover them. So we imagine it as a soundless dark void where there is nothing everywhere. But in this oracle, death marks the start, right? It literally is the zero. So the zero is not just a void point, but it is the point of stillness. It's the 0 point where you exist as everything and nothing simultaneously. Anyway, perhaps it's here that we can finally see death as not an impending force of doom that we fear, but rather an escort to our next chapter. And that's what it is. It's like you're being escorted into a next chapter. It is the end of a cycle and opens a door for a new lifetime to unfold. It feels like a rebirth that's happening in this life, right? It's like the two biggest days are the one that you were seeded onto this planet, and the second one is when you remember your why and you're coming back into alignment with that why. And it's like now that with the Healer of the Ages card, right? The integration has happened within you and that reunification has happened within you. How are you going to choose to move through this construct consciously, right? How are you going to lucidly guide your life towards your chosen destination now that you are aware, right? So there's that different kind of energy that comes through. So if death comes up in a reading, do not be alarmed. Take the hand that guides you as if it belonged to an old friend and grab it tightly. For death in this oracle is a sign that can represent a grand beginning, a second chance at living, or mastering 2 lives in 1 lifetime. And that's what it feels like. You're finishing what it is that you had started in parallel lives. And that's what it is. It's almost as if, again, you hid something for yourself to rediscover. And it's not that it was ever lost, it was just waiting to be found once again. So it feels like you're coming back into alignment with pre-incarnation intentions, things that you're finishing from previous existences. You know, I'm seeing this timeless consciousness that's navigated its way through this construct, utilizing many different life forms, right? Carbon-based life forms. And in this alpha 3rd dimensional vessel, it's like you've come back online, you've come back online, you've come back online, and you're continuously nurturing something that you have throughout many lifetimes. So beginning can also be restorative. It is more often than not that we forget to realize the beauty in the infinity of things. So in order to awaken, we must first sleep, right? In order to remember, we must first forget. And that's what it feels like has happened. And it reminds me of this download I was getting the other day. Let me try and find it, guys. It was really, really beautiful. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I didn't know it was going to lead into this reading, but it makes sense. Okay, I wrote for the first time. Do you ever wish that you could unwatch a movie just to watch it unfold again, right? For the first time. Have you ever listened to a song, right, for the first time, and it hits so differently? That's what it feels like. It's like you're being given the opportunity to do something as if it were for the first time. So it reminds you of the full card energy in the Shaman's Dream Oracle message, which is, even if it's the same place that you've been, you're seeing it through the lens of a newborn baby, because you're finally seeing life through the lens of the soul. So it's what it is that you did in this lifetime. It's almost like you pressed the forgot button and you asked to start again, not because you hadn't lived it before, but because the beauty of remembrance only exists when we begin again. And that's what it is that you're being given the opportunity to do, and that's what it is that you've given yourself the opportunity to do. Everything has already been experienced, right? In the quantum realm, it's simultaneously playing out. That desire that you're dreaming, that frame that you're living in vibrationally, your arrival in the physical is the last thing to happen, right? We experience the illusion of separation. In order to be able to experience, wholeness, we must first experience lack. In order to experience love, we must first experience fear. So you're simply walking through the echoes of your own masterpiece. It's where you're watching a memory of what already exists for you and what has already happened in the quantum realm unfold, and it's like a memory. So I'm seeing lots of deja vu take place. It's watching yourself rediscover the divine plot twist that you've essentially written for yourself, so you wish to feel it again. And it's a beautiful energy that's transpiring, for sure. It's a beautiful energy. So with that being said, I'm gonna love and leave you guys right there. I hope that you enjoyed this message and it gave you everything you need to hear at this stage in your journey. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. Love to have you around. Personal reading details also down below. Also check out Otter Spirit if you guys are looking for some high quality 88 grade jewelry. We have Moonstone and Kunzite on today, which I love, self-love stones. And of course we had to choose Moonstone because we're at, Templo de la Luna, which is literally the temple of the moon. So definitely, Mama Kia vibes. And yeah, I'll speak to you very, very soon. Until next time, bye.